So hello everybody, we are here with Dr. Adriana Popescu for one more episode of Ask Dr. Adriana. And Dr. Adriana is a licensed clinical psychologist, an addiction specialist, and an empowerment coach. And we're here to talk about procrastination. Hello, Dr. Adriana.
Hi, Vinny. Hi, everyone. So I wanted to talk about this topic because I think it comes up so often in my practice with people. And most people treat it like a judgeable offense. So I wanted to debunk some of those myths about procrastination and take a look at what really is creating this. Because I think people have a tendency to beat themselves up for not getting things done or for not getting them done in a more timely manner or whatever it may be. And the first question I want to look at with that is, does it really need to be done now? Because I know that I used to do this one a lot where I thought, oh, I need to be, like taxes comes to mind, here in America, once a year we have to do our taxes. And I would delay. I used to not have a good system. And before we really had the technology with spreadsheets and QuickBooks and whatnot, everything was by hand. And I would have to type it all in to a spreadsheet. And I would say to myself, yeah, I need to do my expenses every month. So when it comes time at the end of the year, I'm not scrambling to get it done. But the reality was what was happening is every month I was beating myself up for not doing the expenses. And then I was feeling like an asshole for not doing them and driving myself crazy. And I had spun such a story around this. And even when it came time, like come March or even April, when taxes are almost due, I'd sit there going, oh my God, now I have a whole year's worth of expenses to deal with. It's going to take so long. It's going to be really hard. And I invented all of this story around it, to make it this painful experience. When one time I realized, it took me maybe 2-3 hours to do it. I'm like, God, that wasn't even that big a deal. I spun myself out for months and was driving myself crazy and beating myself up, thinking I'm a bad business owner because I don't do my accounting properly every month like you're supposed to. When in reality, I didn't need to. I could have not. But, it was only going to take a few hours of my time when I did, and it wasn't that big a deal anyways. So I wonder what stories you might be creating around this idea of procrastination, and are those stories really serving you? Because your point of view creates your reality. And if you have a reality of procrastination, you might want to look at what is the point of view I have that's creating this. You might be thinking, I don't want to do it because I don't want to. I don't want to do because someone else is making me. Like, most people aren't thrilled to be paying the government. Let's put it that way. I don't want to do this because I think it's going to be too hard. Or I don't want to do this because I think I'm not going to do it well, or it's not going to be good enough. And that starts overlapping with a topic that actually goes kind of hand in hand with procrastination, which is the idea of perfectionism. When you have perfectionist expectations of yourself, you will have a tendency to actually procrastinate doing things because you have that fear that it won't be enough. So why even bother? I'm not going to be able to do it right, so why even bother? And then lots of projects never get done, or creations never get started because if you can't do them right, you don't want to do them at all. So with that, the underlying point of view is often something like, I have to get it right. I have to be perfect. I'm not enough. Usually it's covering up some idea of I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not creative enough. I'm not whatever enough. And so that's an interesting connection I think most people don't realize. And then you've got, another kind of version of procrastination, which might be you like the adrenaline rush of waiting until the last minute and feeling that adrenaline and the cortisol, and that maybe that gives you a boost, and it gives you some motivation, or it's a game to you. And you're like, I want to see if I can get it done in, 2 hours or whatever before the deadline. And what if there's nothing wrong with that? If that works for you, if you trust yourself well enough to see that is coming from the space of a different point of view. That is, I know I can do this, and I know I can do it quickly, and I know I can wait until the last minute to do it. And I think it's kind of fun. Nothing wrong with that, right? That is not like a judgeable offense. Just because other people think you should get it done beforehand, that doesn't mean that's an interesting point of view. Maybe that's not your point of view. But if along the way you're beating yourself up and you're saying, oh my God, I'm such a jerk because I waited till the last minute, then that sort of defeats, the purpose of it and takes all the fun out of it. So obviously there's a lot of different ways to look at this. And really what I always want people practicing is mindfulness and awareness and recognizing what it is that's driving your behavior. Most of us are on autopilot. We're not even thinking consciously about what we're choosing. Because when you're choosing procrastination, you are choosing it. It's a choice. Whether you're conscious that it's a choice or not, it still is a choice that you're making. One of the things that I learned about myself is there are definitely some things that can wait, and I'm fine with that. And there are other things that I don't like hanging over my head. I'd rather get it done because I have had the experience of having so much going on that a bill or something that's due is in a pile of papers that I don't get back to. And then I've missed the deadline and now I'm paying a late fee. Enough of those things have happened to where I would rather get something done right away if I know that there's a chance that I might forget about it later. So you really have to know yourself here and know what works for you and what does not work for you. But I think the main point I want to make is don't make yourself wrong for it. Whatever it is you're choosing to wait till the last minute, fine. You're choosing to get it done, fine. One is not inherently better or worse or right or wrong or good or bad than the other. What do you want to choose? What works for you? And you may need to experiment with that. The other stuff I wanted to talk about was more kind of pragmatic, which is like getting yourself organized. A lot of times people don't get things done in a timely manner because they're not very organized. I used to try to keep everything in my head, keep track of my to-dos and everything and deadlines in my head. As life in this day and age, with life as complicated as it is for many of us, that's a system that didn't work for me. So I write everything down. I have in my day planner, because I still have one of those pen and paper day planners. I write down the to-dos, and often I will put them on the day that they're due, or I'll have my systems. I put a star, I circle it. So it really stands out to me like, oh, today you really need to get this done. And sometimes I'll take things from that and I'll put them on a really bright colored Post-it. And that Post-it is right there to remind me, okay, what am I doing? I have an hour free right now. What are the 3 things I really need to get done? And I'll do that. I mean, just simple things, whatever, like finding a system of organization. Maybe you're someone who really likes using the phone. I personally don't like that as much. But you easily can program it to give you reminders like, hey, time to do that thing that has a deadline. Now's the time. But scheduling it in, because otherwise, when will it get done? So I may know that, hey, Saturday morning, I've got 3 hours free. What realistically can I get done in that time? What really needs to get done? And prioritizing, right? Like what has a deadline? What involves money? What needs to be done now? What can wait? Stuff like that. And then when it comes to the tasks that you don't really want to do, that you don't like doing, what would it be like to change your point of view about it? Right? Like I had this dread that, the tax stuff was going to be a pain in the ass and I wasn't going to like it. And then when I changed my point of view about it, I was like, it's not that bad. And then I found a system, a software system that I really liked and actually made it easier and fun. I just had to click, 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 click and put expenses in the proper places and boom, I was done. That made it more fun. So like, how could you make even the unpleasant tasks more fun? Can you change your point of view? Can you turn on music and sing along, to the music while you're doing the task? I was used to do that with cleaning my toilets. I'm like, cleaning my house, bleh, and I would put on the music and I would do like a little dance party as I was running around the house cleaning it. I mean, have a friend come over and talk to you while you're doing the thing. Treat yourself afterwards. That's often a good incentive. People tend to respond better to a positive motivation than a negative one, like beating yourself up. What if like, oh, when I get this project done, I'm going to take myself out for ice cream or a nice dinner, or I'm going to have my favorite meal, or I'm going to go on if it's a big project and it's maybe like, I'm going to treat myself to a massage or a weekend away somewhere, right? Like give yourself a reward, something to look forward to when you get the task done. I think psychologically that helps motivate us a lot more. And plus getting that feeling of satisfaction. I have a huge feeling of satisfaction when I can cross off things on my to-do list. And I really like enjoy that. It makes me feel good. So that's kind of the stuff that really pops for me, is really looking at your judgments. What is the point of you creating your procrastination? What are the ways that to look at it? And just practical, pragmatic, organizational type skills to stay on track, schedule yourself, do things, use reminders, do things as, get them organized in their priority system and when they need to happen. Vinny, do you have any questions, or do we have any comments in the Facebook Live? So that's idea, finding a way to make a tedious task more fun. Yes, indeed. I think that is so important. I always have the TV on or music on pretty much most of the time when I'm like not at work. And it keeps me engaged, because I'm that person who can multitask. I can have a lot of different things going on at once. So I'm somewhat paying attention to the TV. I'm definitely hearing the music, and it makes things just lighter and more fun. Or go somewhere where you enjoy doing it. Go outside. Go, in a coffee shop if you like people watching and whatever. If you're able to focus and get your job done, right? Yes, music works really well for me. Nothing like having a blast, even when the task sucks. Agreed. I'm a big fan of that. Music, singing, dancing. Even I know some people are really particular about like their organizational systems, like their office supply fans. And so they'll have like different colored Post-its and different colored tags and different colored markers for different things. And like that works for them. I know people who still use those old school desk calendars, the kind that lives on your desk, and they like putting all different colored things in there, and that makes it fun for them. I mean, whatever it is that works for you, that's really, I think, a very practical way to deal with this. Okay, and then one thing I was going to ask this is from Kimberly: if there is a part of you that is rebellious and just wants to have fun, how do you convince that part of you that you should do this task? The idea is to make tedious tasks more fun is one great solution. Yes, how can we make this more fun? And again, it's the reward, the carrot at the end of the stick to me. If I know that when I get this annoying stuff done, I get to go do something fun, I get to go do something that even my inner teenager, maybe it's have a cocktail, and maybe it's really like fucking off in some kind of way, and having fun with it. But I don't get to do it. I've learned well enough that I don't get to do the fun thing until I do the annoying thing first. So I've just sort of made that the rule of engagement for me. Yes, inner rebellious teenager, we can go play, we can go have fun, but we got to do this stuff first. And then break it down. I mean, that's the other thing, is break it down into small, manageable tasks. Instead of saying, I got to clean my entire house, it's like, all right, I'm just going to clean this one room, or I'm just going to clean this one corner. It's usually what ends up happening, or this one drawer. You do the one little thing and you don't hold an expectation of yourself to do anymore. And then once you're in it, it's like exercise. Once you're in it, you want to keep doing it. So the momentum's already there. Usually you'll want to keep going. But if you don't hold an expectation of yourself that you have to do the whole project, you're just going to do this one little piece of it, and then you'll do the next piece another time. That might also break it down to more manageable bite-sized chunks versus, because that's the one thing that will happen is people will get overwhelmed by a task thinking it's too big, too much. Break it down into steps. Does it have to be all done? If you're planning ahead and being strategic about it, may not need to all get done in one fell swoop. The thing with the taxes, I still have the option of doing my expenses every month. So there isn't such a pile up at the end of the year. Experiment with it and find what works for you. Anything else, Vinny? Any other comments or questions we might have? You basically have to get your inner kid to sit for a while when you do a task, and then take them to play after you're done. Yes. And honestly, I mean, I think that's a fairly good life skill. I mean, I definitely, I think I must have gotten that message growing up, like work hard, play hard, but work hard was first. So I think if you can embrace that as just, it'll make your life easier to just get the things done. Because here's the thing, if you're trying to deliberately avoid doing something and you're going to say, oh, I'm forget it, I'm not doing the annoying thing, I'm going to go do something fun. Are you really having 100% as much fun as you could? Or in the back of your mind, is there's that little voice saying, yeah, you should be cleaning your house right now. Yeah, you should be doing that task that you blew off. Now you're the idiot who's going to have to do, it's almost like it might ruin your fun, or it might keep you from having as much fun as you could, knowing that you are totally free and you don't have things hanging over your head. So I would even argue that the quality of your good time is going to be even better if you either don't make yourself wrong for it, or you do what you need to do ahead of time so you have a clean slate and you can fully relax and enjoy yourself. People have a hard time on Sunday knowing Monday is coming. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in an hour later. I'm also in the process of writing an article. I am an executive contributor for Brains magazine, Brainz. I actually really like Brains. I think that they have some really interesting articles. It is very like a lot of intelligent, well-spoken, well-educated people writing on all different kinds of topics, from business to lifestyle. I think there's a lot of coaches on there and a lot of entrepreneurs. So if you haven't checked out that website, you might want to. I think there's some valuable info there. So I'm going to be writing an article. I'm in process of writing an article for Brains magazine on this topic as well. So maybe later, Vinny can help me go back and add that in to our comments. And another thing I wanted to let you guys know, who have been kind of fans of the Ask Dr. Adriana, we've been doing it every other week. I'm actually going to cut it back to once a month. And in that other time slot, I'm going to start creating some Facebook Lives for Firebird Healing, which is my new trauma treatment program. It has its own set of social media. It has its own Facebook page. I think eventually we'll create maybe a group over with Firebird as well. And I think we're on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. And Firebird is really this long labor of love. If you've been following me at all, you know that I have this idea to create a trauma-focused treatment center, really in person, pre-pandemic, and didn't quite go as planned in the last couple of years. But eventually it will have more of an in-person presence. Right now, we've just started with some online workshops, and I'm right now facilitating one with TJ Woodward, my good friend and colleague, called Healing Trauma and Addiction. It's a 3-part online series, which I think people probably could still hop on if you haven't already. I think we'll close it, people can sign up still for the second session, and then we'll close the registration. But I really am enjoying it. Our first session was great. We have a really nice group of people on there using material from Conscious Recovery. And I've got some other workshops planned, and possibly even a retreat in Bali next year. Stay tuned for that. Some really exciting stuff is coming. So thanks for tuning in, and truly, what else is possible for you on this topic of procrastination? I hope this conversation has been a contribution, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.